56 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Hear me? Huh? Yeah. How about now? Ooh, and that good music. So here we go. Ooh, I'm a happy man. Welcome, folks. Here we go. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. This is On the Record. Yes, with your handsome, I say I am. At least that's what my grandmother told me I was. Brian Summers, this is On the Record here on WSIC. It is a good day. It is a good Wednesday. Hump day, some people say. I say just getting through the middle of the week. So we're making things happen here. I say we, because I'm joined by my friend who's probably been, I say he's the most popular guest that's been on this show. Every week seems like he's around here, but he's here. Retired physician Gary Robinson, who is chairman of the Idaho County Republican Party, and he's in here, and we're going to talk everything but politics, if you can believe that. Nah, just kidding.
Okay, good.
But he's here. He's my guest here for the whole hour. And you can join us if you get us on Facebook right now, streaming live on Facebook, on Twitter, on, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Apple Play. Boy, oh boy, let's see. Can we get on any other platform? We're on all of them. LinkedIn is a platform we're also on. So you can go over and get our smiling faces. This is me, Brian Summers. I'm saying hello to you. And that's Doc Rob right there. And he's going to say hello as well, too. And so this is what's happening right here today for On the Record. We were talking early before the show got started, and I was mentioning to Doc Rob that today, and I really do send out condolences, and hadn't talked about this on this show this week, particularly get all the way through Wednesday, but former First Lady Rosalynn Carter passed away over the weekend, and they've had a couple of days of services, a public service yesterday, and then today it was a private burial that took place there in Plains, Georgia. But yesterday was the probably the more what everybody maybe seen on TV or on social media, where they had all of the Carter alumni or administrative staff, as well as former presidents and first ladies attend her service there in Georgia yesterday. And then I think the day before they had something at the Carter Center there in Atlanta. So anyway, but I know that regardless of politics, life is important and life matters. And we most certainly send heartfelt thoughts and prayers out for sure to former President Jimmy Carter and their 4 children. So wanted to just highlight the only time I attended a Nancy Reagan's funeral, which I think half the Congress poured out for to go out to California, and that was it was the first lady funeral I ever was in attendance for, and then my second one was when Barbara Bush passed down at the University at Texas, and so. But again, first ladies they serve. They usually always have projects that they do or they get into doing or they kind of adopt themselves into doing. And I think, I didn't know a lot. I was obviously very young when the Carters were in the presidency. And so I was mentioning to Doc Rob if he had a chance to ever cross paths and meet them, because he's such a world traveler, folks. You would not believe all the places that Dr. Gary Robinson has been. He is just that famous. So what say you, Doc Rob? It is Wednesday. What say you, my friend?
Yes. All of that and more.
All of that and more, right?
Yeah, so.
Here we are.
So we have another wonderful Wednesday. It's unbelievable that we're already on the cusp of December.
It is.
And it feels like it. It certainly feels like December out there. We've got candidate filings coming up.
Oh, my goodness. I thought we weren't going to talk politics. I thought we were here just to kind of maybe stare at each other. We're going to stare at each other in complete silence.
Well, did you open up that bottle of wine yet?
No, no, not at all. It is it's nice, and you gave me the story behind 1999. It's a good year, I think it was. But no, I have not cracked that. No, sir, I have not done that. I'm going to be, so no. But I do thank you so very much. That was a nice gesture. That was very good. And you knew, because of our politics, that I was a red man.
Yes.
Now, was somebody going to be offended that I said that? Would somebody be offended that I said I'm a red man?
No, I don't.
Good,
because somebody would. But
well, good. I hope that somebody's offended that I said red man here. Because I can. Yeah, look, hey, I always say, you know where I am. So, well, what say you, Doc Rob?
Yeah.
Listen, his weapon of choice, golf clubs. So
At 20 paces.
good deal,
Yeah,
folks.
probably won't hurt myself too much.
Folks, I have here Dr. Gary Robinson on. He's my co-host guest here today, and we're just chatting. I want to kind of really, kind of get back. Last week was it was just kind of like the last 2 weeks, kind of been a really bit with all going on in the world and things just happening the way they were, and I just kind of felt like I couldn't even have a good lighthearted because we weren't here Friday, so couldn't really have a lighthearted Friday. So I guess I'm making up for it today. And so some good things are going on in the community. Tomorrow in downtown Statesville, there'll be lighting the Christmas tree. And so I got an email over there from the lady that I think she runs City Hall. So she has I don't know, she may be sitting on top of the file cabinet there. I think she's the I'm teasing it. April Nesbitt. Anyway, April Nesbitt sent me all the information that's happening in the city of Statesville, including the tree lighting tomorrow and an invitation to come and sit on Santa's lap. And I said, I don't think that applies to me. And she said, "Oh no, come see Santa Claus. Sit on Santa's lap." I said,
Well,
"April, I don't
Santa
think
may
so."
not be that strong.
Exactly, right, exactly. And I said, yeah. So, she said, well, why don't you come be Santa Claus? And I said, well, I don't know about that.
There you go.
I said, oh, that's
You're
insulting.
going to put a couple more pounds on.
Right. I don't know. The head or the stomach? I don't know. Which, Santa got a big head. So.
Yeah, little red hat. I like it.
Little red hat. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But anyway, so tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, tree lighting ceremony on the grounds of the old courthouse right there at the corner of Court and Center Street downtown. There'll be tree lighting going on. And then the next day, and a couple days into it, you can actually find your way to City Hall building, go inside, see how they've really decked it out in there. As they say, deck the halls. They've decked the halls of City Hall. So go in, and Santa's supposed to be there one day, and you can have your picture taken. And I asked her, I said, well, can you give Santa your wish list of things? And then she said to me, yeah, it depends on if you've been naughty or nice. And I said, well, I'm just going to stay outside then.
Oh, gee, come on.
Naughty or nice.
Well, let me give you my list so you can turn my list in.
Wait a minute. Well, wait. Will it get me arrested?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
No, there's nothing on my list that can get you arrested.
All right. So promise.
Yeah, promise. No.
Yeah. But anyway, so a lot happening. And then Saturday, December 2nd, going on down in the town of Troutman. Troutman's going to have their Christmas parade. And so it is happening. And then up in Harmony the 3rd at 2 p.m., they're going to have a parade up in Harmony. And I got to ask old Tim Meadows, wait a minute. Love Valley, y'all got to have if Harmony can have a parade, Love Valley's got to have a parade.
No parade for Love Valley. But Statesville has a Christmas parade the following week.
Yeah, that's December 10th at 3 o'clock downtown. And so, yeah, people can, come on out. I hope the weather holds up. Last year, it was a little cold last year. We had, I don't know, for it to be already almost fall, winterish, it hasn't been that cold. I mean, you've been from New York by way of California, by way of Florida. I mean, you may not think so, but, it hasn't been that drop down 18 is the high for the day weather around here yet.
I'm encouraged that it's coming.
You're encouraged?
I'm encouraged that it's coming.
Well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? But listen, so those are some just things kind of happening, I know, right off the top. And in the library, each one of the libraries, Statesville, Troutman, and Harmony libraries are going to have kids come in. They're going to have holiday festivals. So I'll get to that when I do some more announcements. But anyway, this is On the Record. I am in here today, Brian Summers, your host, and I'm joined by Dr. Gary Robinson. We'll be right back after the break. This is On the Record. Brian Summers, be right back.
More On the
Ta-da.
Woo! Here we go back, folks. I say we, yes, because I am joined by the man, the legend, the myth himself, the Phantom.
Who
It
am
is
I?
a Doctor. Who am I? Yeah, Dr. Gary Robinson, who is a retired physician here in our community, currently chair of the Iredell County Republican Party. And so yes, and he still lives.
He lives.
He lives.
Breathes.
Yeah.
And he admires your music.
Oh my God! Oh yeah! Hey, listen, man. I kind of really was like pushing to get some of that a little more. I guess it's like funkier music. I guess
Well, you
get
know-
some rhythm to it because you're the guitar man.
Well,
so,
yeah, my sister used to work for Motown Records
Really?
way back when in Detroit City.
really.
Yeah.
What was her name? What is her name?
What is it? Judy Plasky.
Julie Plasky. Because yesterday I had on a guy who is he is a digital archivist for Motown in Detroit.
Seriously?
Yeah. His name is VJ Kearney. He's a friend of mine. So I have 2 exhibits in the Motown Museum in Detroit.
Really?
I have a time capsule that I wrote back in 1996 that is there. And then I have Marvin Gaye. I wrote the legislation to change a street in his old neighborhood in D.C.,
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye Way. That's there. And then a contributor book from the movie The Temptations. Those 3 items are in the Motown Museum.
Wow.
And even this, Doc, anybody's ever been to the Motown Museum, as soon as you go in, you go down that hallway, you pass a little shelf as glass. Behind the glass used to be Michael Jackson's glove.
Really?
So, yes, he donated it when he did Motown 25 in 1984. He donated that white glove.
The
to
white
Shirley-
glove,
yeah,
yeah.
he to the museum. Well, guess what happened in 2001? This little guy from South Statesville, North Carolina, came up and did the Motown time capsule. And so
Yeah.
all these Motown luminaries put stuff in it. That replaced Michael Jackson's glove. They moved that further back into the museum.
Oh.
Pretty daggone cool.
Yeah,
So
that
I
is
always tell,
cool.
but I would jokingly tease and tell Barry Gordy that I felt like he should pay me because people see my time capsule for free, then they go pay admission to the daggone museum. he thought that was
I
funny,
see. That
but he
was
didn't change. Right?
That's your teaser right
That's
there.
my teaser right there. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So so it was a pretty daggone. It was a good interview yesterday. So it's good to your sister, and her
Yeah.
name was what again?
Yeah, Judy Plasky.
Judy Plasky.
She's out there in Palm Springs now.
Get out of here.
Yep.
All right, good deal. So I'm gonna do some digging and see because yes, there were all once they left Detroit in '73, all of the moved out there except for like Marvin Gaye and the Four Tops.
Sure.
Hold on, somebody's calling on the line. We'll figure out who this is. I don't know. Good afternoon. You're on the record with Brian Summers. Hello.
Ryan Summers, Ellie Gold.
Oh my goodness, is my good brother Ellie Gold, who is a expert in Middle Eastern affairs, been to Israel several times, has a foreign policy think tank there in Washington, D.C. So how are you, Mr. Gold?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh my
How are
goodness.
things in Statesville?
Well-
Hopefully it's a little warmer there than it is in Washington.
Oh my goodness. How can you be from Baltimore, man, and you can't take the cold? Oh my goodness. Come on now.
I'm telling you.
Well, I'm sitting here.
Rough life, man.
Rough life. Yeah, right. So I have here joining me is Dr. Gary Robinson, who's the Republican Party chair for the county we live in down here, which you have not visited, Iredell County. And but this is Ellie Gold, a good friend of mine who is, I call him a Mid-East foreign policy expert because he's had the think tank, the Gold Institute in D.C. and New York for 15 years or so, and has just done a phenomenal work with working with really, Doc. He's worked with the Kurds of northern Iraq. Yes.
Okay.
And trying to make sure Kurdistan and getting them recognized and really trying to bring them as an independent body themselves back into the fold of things, and he can speak on that dynamics. But I really wanted him to kind of brief us up and bring us up on what's happening in Israel. More hostages were released today, and I think that they've expanded the ceasefire, or at least the bombings, for another 2 days. So that's a good thing. But then we get them all back there. And I guess my question for you, Ellie, is, I don't know what happens if Israel follows through with what I think the government of Netanyahu says is their plans. What happens to who governs or who has a say for Gaza? I don't know who you cannot let Hamas organize or be unorganized back in there with influence. I don't know what the next step is. Then, so that's why I turn to you, Ellie. Go. What's the next step for the Gaza Strip area there? If you don't have, if Israel occupies it and you have no sitting government, what do you do? What's the plan for it, my friend? I know you weren't prepared for that question.
Oh, that's the $10 million question. What's the
Hey, listen, hey, Ellie, you sure just 10 million? Because there's some of our friends in the Congress that say that's $1 billion question with all the spending that's going on.
Maybe $1 trillion question.
Well, what you and I might spend 10 million, Congress will definitely spend $1 billion. So, there's no question about it. Where you can't, Congress tends to overinflate budgets, as you know. But no, it's a really, really difficult question as we see what's happening with this conflict, and I am sure that you heard in the news most recently that even Hamas does not have all of the hostages.
Right.
They have shared the hostages with several other terrorist groups that are running around. Gaza.
On that point, this is the narrative I ran with yesterday, Ellie, was that that you had I called them baby Hamases out there, or people who were just, these gangs who were opportunists, who once everything happened October 7th, they took the advantage to go out and whether they grabbed 3, 5, or 10 Israeli hostages, they went. But you got these splinter groups in Hamas. They're not organized as an army, but they're these splinter groups within Hamas. They're holding, and then Hamas doesn't know where they are. So you've got these splinter groups out there who are holding folks, and the Israeli government is trying to negotiate with Hamas. And I mean, I don't know how honest Hamas is being. Well, we don't know who these people are. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I mean, that's the difficulty again. And I think that Israel has a right to say we want everybody that's missing accounted for and returned. And so that's where the difficult kind of comes in. What say you, sir?
Well, I think that this is everything you said. I mean, is on point. Israel, I think, is doing a yeoman's job at being civil in this situation. This idea. Let's think about what Israel is giving for these hostages that Hamas took. It's 3-1. Three Palestinian or Gazan terrorists for one Israeli civilian.
Yeah,
that tells you a lot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think they released 15 on Saturday, but then they gave away 112 or 115 prisoners who had been in prison, not political hostages. These were prisoners who were locked up legitimately, sentenced in a court in Israel. They gave them away. Those, I mean, as an upside down, like nobody's business. And I'm like, whoa. I would at least give me a I mean, that's a 90-10 equation there. At least give me a 60-40. I mean, but that is just, I think that, but Israel, hey, they said we're trying to be good faith actors here. We're trying to really, because the life matters more than anything. They're saying that they want their people back, and I think that I think that I'm just like, I don't know if I want to let that many terrorists, thugs, Palestinians back into, so they can kind of, these are people who were in jail. These are not people who were political military folks. These were folks who were convicted in Israeli courts, who were sentenced, who had did terroristic acts against Israel and its neighbors. And so they were sentenced legally, but to open the cells and turn them all loose and say, go back now into, I don't know. I would have pushed for more of a balance there than that. And then I most certainly would have had monitors to figure out where they're going.
That's correct. So you have, if you take a look at the situation, Israel's really trying very, very, very hard to get their people back. At the real beginning, early on in this, many of the family members said just assumed that they were not going to get their people back, and said said, just do what you have to do in order to defeat Hamas. And in fact, the Israel, kudos to them, kudos to the international community, and negotiated the release of these hostages. And I think that's a positive step. Israel is also providing, this ceasefire for humanitarian purposes, which of course I'm always skeptical about humanitarian purposes in Gaza. We see that Hamas was, when Israel was telling people to leave because we're about to bomb your house, they would send text messages. The people, and you probably saw this, that Hamas was not letting people leave their building because if they did, they would shoot them. It was Israel who had to secure the passageway for these people to leave their own towns, so that way Israel can then go and bomb and do what they had to do to defeat Hamas.
Right.
Ultimately, I would like to see. I think that President Biden and the administration is pushing and urging Israel to continue this ceasefire indefinitely. I don't think that the will on the ground in Israel is to permit the government to keep the ceasefire indefinitely.
Hey, Ellie, I'm coming up on a break, Ellie. Ellie, I'm coming up on a break.
Okay.
Be right back, folks. Ellie Gold, Dr. Gary Robinson, right here on the record. Brian Summers.
Keep it right here on the record with
Hey, I'm back, folks. We're back, and Dr. Gary Robinson is here. And on the line, we have my good friend Ellie Gold, who's in from up there in Washington, D.C., who's an expert on foreign policy and Middle Eastern affairs. And so he chimed in because I'd had a question I put out there to try to get some understanding on. And Ellie is a talker to let us know and let me know. So, but Doc Rob had some history. He shared a little bit about what was happening in the area. Doc, what say you, sir?
And where?
Here?
There?
Yeah, over there.
Over there. Oh, over
Yeah.
there. Well, well, Israel's a very interesting place. Okay, a lot of people don't realize, but Bethlehem is only 5 miles outside of main downtown Jerusalem.
Wow!
You could walk it. Of course, you
Right.
run into a problem when you walk it because there's a fence with barbed wire on top of it because it's on the let's say in the Palestinian part of the West Bank right now. But you can get a pass. And on Christmas Eve 5 years ago, I was in the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. Very interesting place. It's one of the few churches from that ancient time period that was spared during the Crusades and the time around then.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, when was the last time you were over there visiting? I know your daughter was there last year, and I think two of your kids have went there and stayed extensively. And I know last year you had one of your daughters was there, right, Ellie?
Yeah, my daughter was there. I had a daughter there last year and 5 years ago as well, and I was there not that long ago as well. But before this war, for work, yeah, I've been there. We spent a great deal of time there. It's always important. You know, it's just for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's as you know, this is my historic homeland.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is I think people have to understand the impact and influence that Israel has on the globe. We talk about manufacturing, and everybody thinks about China. But when you talk about research and development, the world would not look as it does without Israel. So the impact Israel has on every one of us. If you remember what were those protests against what was it? Occupy Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
And you remember that, but yet everybody who was occupying Wall Street it was utilizing all the technology that comes out of Wall Street and those big corporations that they were protesting. Now we go around the world and we see all these people protesting Israel with all the technology that has come out of Israel that didn't come out of Gaza or anywhere else. Came from Israel. So you just find it interesting, and it's always important before one protests, before one calls for the demise of any country. Think about our people. Think about what comes from there.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, let me ask you this, Doc Rob. Let me ask you, sir. Have you visited the homeland? Have you visited the Holy Land?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Many times, or
No, only once. I was there for 3 weeks.
okay.
Actually spent a week between Jordan and Egypt, and then about 2 weeks in Israel itself.
So I've only been to Tel Aviv when it was the capital, and this is going back to the late '90s, and was there a very long time ago. But it was my first trek over there, and so then with on a detail, my old boss was chairman of foreign relations, Senator Helms, and so we had a detail that went over there, and I was lucky enough to kind of get a seat on that. And it was my very first time that far west into the country itself and to Israel, and so we went. But that was pretty interesting. I don't know, Ellie. What do you think about two-state solution? Because I guess my thing is, what happens to, the innocent people of Palestine? What happens? What is your thoughts on a two-state solution?
You know, I think that a two-state solution is very, very important. Actually, I just had a conversation with the former vice chairman of Egypt's parliament, their foreign relations committee in parliament, and we were talking about this very, very topic. It's a double-edged sword. I think that the Palestinian people deserve their own place, and I think that it is so important to strive towards a two-state solution. The part of the problem that you have is that if we're keeping this conversation above board and keeping politics out of it for a moment, I think that that the conflict is a theological conflict. If we're just focusing on the surface of it, I think that there's a lot more to it to unpack. But it's a theological one. And in this debate of a two-state solution or not, you have two peoples who want the same thing. And they are both claiming it from a theological perspective. And if in fact that is true, then it is something that is unnegotiable. And therefore it makes it very, very difficult to create a two-state solution.
Yeah.
I think that what ultimately needs to happen is the region, because Israel can't do it on its own for obvious reasons. It would be the equivalent of a husband and wife getting a divorce and then telling the husband or the wife to divvy up the assets. It doesn't work that way. I think that having a two-state solution currently in the current climate would only exacerbate the situation. We see with the territories that they have now, they can't live in peace. What makes us think that if we were to say, Israel, you take this, then Palestinians, you take that all of a sudden they're going to live in peace? I think that the only solution is one where they can live together side by side. That takes a lot of work. That requires a change of mentality. And
Sure.
I think that's. You see, look, people talk about Israel occupying and Israel being an apartheid state. If you take a look at the Knesset, you have Jews, Christians, Muslims, Druze, and others living together, ruling the country together in peace and within their own within Israel. So we have to be able to strive to an environment where they can live together in peace.
Well, let me pose this question, and then Doc, you're older than both of us, Doc Rob, and so I guess so we're looking for seasoned knowledge here. But I guess I don't know, and maybe Ellie, you may have a little more to share about it. But it would seem to me that somehow somebody would have 20 years ago said, "Okay, we've got to figure out a way forward, and we've got to have like-minded individuals through education, through building bridges of both sides, Israeli and Palestinian, who in 20 years can grasp this to make it work." And I just think, I don't know if that is the influence that comes from Jordan. Does it come from Egypt? Does Lebanon have a say on that? I don't know. We most certainly don't want Iran, surely, having anything to do with it. And this is my opinion. But I think if there are Arab countries that we can work with within, I think we should try to. And Doc, you can answer that question when we come back after the break. Ellie Gold, thank you for calling in, my friend. God bless you. We thank you. And be good. On this record, Brian Summers, be right back.
Thanks for having me.
There's more.
Washington, D.C., even though he's from Baltimore, and who says he can't take cold weather. But Ellie Gold up there, thank you so much for reaching out to us and getting to me on this. Glad to have you, and just very good. So Ellie had to go and get off the line, so we thank you for calling in, my friend. I'm still here with Dr. Gary Robinson, and we're just having good conversation about things going on right here. We talked all things. We talked a little bit of politics, and we have some things coming up, I guess. You have a calendar for primary season here in North Carolina. When and where filing opens up. There are 3 county commissioner seats that I think that are coming up for Iredell County. There are a governor's race, and I think all of the statewide executive are all up for this period in time as well.
So the first primary is on Tuesday, March 5th, and that includes the presidential primaries. And next general election will be on November 5th of 2024. Now we have the following openings in the state right now coming up: governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, state treasurer, state auditor, agriculture commissioner, superintendent of public instruction, labor commissioner, insurance commissioner, Superior Court judge, who Joe Crosswhite is the current Superior Court judge, and I believe he's going to run again, and he's going to get my vote. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, and then we have District Court judge and District 22. There are 3 seats, one of which Ron DeYoung has.
He'll get my vote.
And he'll get my vote also. And District Attorney Sarah Kirkman is up for re-election.
Okay.
Okay. Then, in the county, we have the state senate, which Vicky Sawyer is our current senator. We have 3 people in the House of Representatives because we're divided up into districts 84, 89, and 95. And Jeff McNeely, Mitchell Setzer, and Gray Mills are our current representatives from those places.
Correct.
Okay, and I believe they're all running again. 3 seats on the county commission.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
3 people are up for re-election: Melissa Nieder,
Gene Haupt,
and Scotty Brown.
Scotty Brown. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And we have at least 2 others that are thrown their hat in the ring so far:
Okay.
Richard Coleman and Angela Matthews.
Okay.
Okay.
And Haupt is running for re-election.
And Halp is
he
running.
has, he
yes,
has
he
announced
is.
that he's running for
Yes, he is.
re-election. Absolutely. So let me ask you:
Yep.
there are no Statesville city elections.
No, the municipals are over with
Yeah.
right now.
And
Yeah.
they'll come back around in 25, folks. So goodness gracious, time is really going fast. But again, I would hope that we could see what we can do to spend some time to figure out, what are people voting for? What do you want? What do people want? Are you getting what you want as a voter out there? Is it just a hell no crowd, or throw all the bums out? I mean, that's something to pose and to try to ask. Are you satisfied with what you have? And are you getting what you voted for? I think that's the question. And then how do I hold you accountable once you get there? That's even a question that's being posed now. Is it, well, I voted for somebody and they're not doing what I want them to do. Well, then you make them do it. But you don't, there are ways in which you do it and get your voice heard. You know how I feel about voting in municipal elections and how important it is and how sad it is when you only have 3% of your population to go out and vote.
It's just crushing. And even in Mooresville, where we had almost double the percentage, but
Right.
still,
It's still,
not great.
I mean, and that was good for Mooresville. When I look at their numbers compared to 2000 and 2015, I think that the mayor-elect, we got to talk about Kearney, got elected there as the mayor. Chris Kearney's the mayor-elect for Mooresville. We had a couple folks get elected to Troutman and also to the Troutman and Mooresville Town Council. The mayor of Troutman got reelected as well. And so elections matter, folks. Elections matter. Our county is growing. Our county is growing. And if you like or you don't like what you see going on, you have a voice. You got a right. don't just assume and write off and say, oh, it doesn't count. It counts. And I tell you one thing, and I'll shout out to him and say, one vote got a new alderman for the town of Troutman. Nicholas Zarninski is a new town alderman for the town of Troutman. He got elected by one vote.
Yep.
So don't ever let anybody tell you your vote doesn't count or voting doesn't matter. And he'll be deciding matters with the other his colleagues there and the mayor for the next 4 years on one vote.
Yep.
One vote.
Mr. Nick Bourne vote.
Yeah, Mr. Nick one vote.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
It'll be famous forever.
I guess you could say to the city of Statesville, Ward 6, you've got city council electee by 70 votes, Mrs. 70 votes. But I mean, again, a win is a win is a win. And I would always tell people that, especially when my guys won. And I'd say, well, yeah, but a win is a win is a win. I don't care how bad, awful. A win is a win is a win. We crossed the line.
I'd rather win by one vote than lose by 70,000.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Or in my case, you lose by 384 votes.
But each one is torture.
Exactly. But I had a lot of fun. So we're moving on from that. So don't nobody call now. So aren't running for anything. I am not running for anything. I am happily right here behind this mic in this seat. So what is the process? So I think that the Iredell County Republican Party, you guys have a Reagan Day that's coming up, and that they
February
do
23rd.
February 23rd at the Civic Center, and we have a tentative invite out to Senator Budd. It's a Friday night. Now, I can tell you that the U.S. Senate is never in session on a damn Friday night. So I don't know what the weight is on confirming he's going to come or not, but they are never, 30 years there, and those guys leave town on Thursday. And so I don't know, but we'll look and see what's happening with the legislative calendar, because it could be that we don't have a budget because of January 19th coming over from the House that may, have some play in it. So, but we know that they are working, but just, not say you can't make something on a Friday, Saturday night is kind of like, we're waiting for bigger fish. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there because years of experience.
I'm just going to say, there are a lot of flights in from Washington to Charlotte.
Who you telling, man?
Right, and we're only 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
So if he can't make it,
Yeah.
I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well, and then there's the flight from D.C. is only 47 minutes. I'm on it every Monday morning at 5 a.m.
Yep.
So, in fact, now there are 3 crews that know me when I come through. And
they have a drink waiting for you when you're coming on the...
I won't answer that as a discussion.
Well, I was like a coffee or something.
Yes,
hot tea.
Yes, hot tea, and my favorite window by the seat, my seat by the window. I'm a window guy. So anyway, that's what's going on. Doc, I got some community things to share a little bit here with you to tell you good things are going on that I was told to, I was instructed to share, and I was like, well, I'll do what I'm supposed to do here. It says, a evening of holiday classics with the Charlotte Symphony. They're going to be in the town of Mooresville on Wednesday, December 13th at 7 p.m. at the Mooresville Performing Arts Center. That is the holiday classics. The Charlotte Symphony is going to be in downtown Mooresville at the Performing Arts Center, December 13th at 7 p.m. And so you can go on Our Town Stage for tickets to that event and to check it out, folks. It's good stuff. And then in Taylorsville, North Carolina, Alexander County Christmas Parade is taking December 2nd, 3 p.m. Look at that. So they're going to be the same time that Troutman has theirs. I think Troutman's in the morning, though, right? Troutman parades, I think, are up in the morning.
10 a.m.
Yeah, so you can go to Troutman, then you can go up to Taylorsville. But Taylorsville I have some cousins up there in Taylorsville, and I'm glad they're having a Christmas parade for sure. We zip all the way back across. I mentioned earlier, a holiday party going on at Troutman Library, December 7th. Harmony Library, December 14th, and Statesville Library, December 14th. And it is a holiday party. It's free. Come join us for a festive holiday party at the any one of your 3 branch libraries. All are invited. Come and celebrate the season with games, crafts, and treats. And that is compliments of the Iredell County Public Library. I like good things that go on in our community that kind of bring people together, because that's kind of what we do here at WSIC. We find ways to bring in, almost like GE, we bring good things to life. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
And you know what?
Yes, sir.
And the Iredell Public Library is fantastic. About a month ago, they had a talk on
Edgar Allan Poe.
That's
right. In
yeah,
August,
all the stuff you didn't want to know, or you did want to know. I was amazed at how little I knew.
Me too. I was very impressed.
Yes.
All right, and I'm
Yeah.
even more impressed with these birthdays I got here. Courtney Houston, happy birthday. Jamie Jenkins, happy birthday. Kim Imes, happy birthday. Amy Lowry, happy birthday. Danny Mooney, happy birthday. Rhonda Williams, happy birthday. Kim Bangdard, happy birthday. Allison Crawford, happy birthday. Siobhan McMurray, my cousin up there in Grand Rapids, Michigan, happy birthday to you. Alex Shields, happy birthday. Jody Brockington, happy birthday. Chris Frades, Teresa Red, happy birthday to you. She's married to famous singer Jeff Red. And, yep, that's what we got going on. And yesterday, John Mark Huckabee, a good friend of mine, his dad's former governor, Mike Huckabee, and his sister, Sarah Huckabee, he had a birthday yesterday. Sorry we missed you. And my cousin, Vincent Summers, up there in Hickory. Happy birthday. So, folks, we're still here. This is On the Record with Brian Summers, and we had a pretty good day, a darn good day. Doc, I appreciate you sitting in with me today, and I appreciate Ellie Gold calling in from up in Johns Hopkins University School of Foreign Policy, getting us some good stuff here and talking about the Gold Institute. Very important about what's happening in the Middle East, and you let us know what's happening around here. How often does the Iredell GOP meet?
About once a month.
Okay.
It's usually on the fourth Monday of the month. However, no meeting